Hello everyone, I have a terrible outfit today. Purple shirt, green jacket, blue hat, orange little logo. It's a disaster. But welcome back to another BrickSide Chat. Another episode coming out today. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. So we had a lot of questions and I had to kind of filter through ones that I could elaborate more on and the ones that I could just answer in the comments. So I think we have 8 total questions. First one here is from PV Sankar. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. It says, I have a few sets with a lot of varied pieces and I really want to sell them out. I know you said in another video that you always go bigger than you expect your shop to go. I'm not sure this is what I want the whole thing to be, and I just kind of want to sell my pieces out. I do have enough shipping supplies and other things. Should I open a shop, and would it be worth it for 2 to 3 sets? No, I do not think it's going to be worth it for 2 to 3 sets at all. What I would recommend you doing is if you have all those pieces for that set, you could open a BrickLink store and sell that set as a whole set, as a used item, or you could sell it on eBay or somewhere else, some other platform. But I would say for 2 to 3 sets, it's not going to be worth parting out your pieces because it's going to take you a very, very, very long time for people to purchase all of those pieces. And specifically saying that you don't really want this to go bigger and stuff, you don't want to grow, I would say don't open a BrickLink store with individual lots or individual pieces unless you do want to potentially continue that on later. So my suggestion, I guess, for your 2 to 3 sets that you have would be get the pieces all together, make sure it's all together and it's considered used, and sell it either on eBay or you could sell that on BrickLink if you want. But don't open it just for 2 to 3 sets. It'll take a very, very, very long time. Dina asks, what are your go-to stores to find decent sales on Lego? First and foremost is Walmart. So we're in the United States, so Walmart generally has clearance a couple times a year, and that is definitely one of the places. That's our first go-to kind of thing where we expect to see sales and stuff. After that, we'll check Target and Kohl's as well. Kohl's has some great in-store deals. Target occasionally has promos where you get like a $10 gift card every $50 you spend on Lego. Plus they have a sale when you kind of factor in those multiple things on top of each other. It does become worth it at Target. In addition to that, on Amazon we've purchased things. A lot of places like that. We've seen things at Marshall's. Where else? I think Home Goods. Just random places where we see anything, but definitely go-to place is Walmart. After that, I would say Kohl's and Target are a good bet as well. And I'm probably forgetting something, which I'm sure people will say in the comments, but Walmart is our number one. Lego Lady 21 says, I'm considering opening my own BrickLink store, and I was wondering what you think is a good goal for lot/piece count to start a store at. Now, I think we talk about this a lot on BrickSide Chat, and it's a difficult answer difficult question to answer. But what's kind of been changing in our direction, it used to be like, oh, you need a lot of pieces per lot. We're kind of, we still want multiples of a certain piece per lot, but we don't necessarily need like 8 or 10 or 12 or 14 of a certain piece. We've lowered it to 4. So what I would say is don't build your store to be big and then start and open. I would say open your store right from the beginning and add pieces. But when you're making those purchases for items coming into your store that you're going to add to your inventory, you don't have to purchase 12 of the same set. You can purchase 2 or 3 or 4. We're going to try to continue purchasing about 3 or 4, which is going to add more lots to your store. In our experience or from our observation, I guess, over the past year, it appears that stores that have more lots actually end up having more sales overall because you have more people coming to your store because they have a potential or you have more potential for more people to see that your store is even there because you offer more individual pieces. Hopefully that made sense. So I would say prioritize lots over piece count when you're starting out. Next question comes from Parker Adams, who says, have you ever considered adding a fee per lot? I can only imagine it being very time consuming to put small quantities of multiple lots for orders. Financially, it doesn't make a ton of sense to sell that way, but is it worth it to add a fee for every 10 lots or so? Is it worth it? I don't know, because I don't know what the other side of that would be in terms of the buyer side when they see there's a fee per lot, how many people aren't going to purchase. In addition to that, you'd have to figure out what is a good price per 10 lots or whatever, however you end up spacing that out. On our end, we probably won't end up doing that. Something else you can do, and this is what Ryan kind of asked, and I'll kind of tie these two questions together. Ryan says, I'm brand new to BrickLink. Today I got an order for 300 parts but it was only a $20 order. I was wondering how I could combat this in the future, maybe a lot limit or average lot value. So going back to Parker's question, I would probably say don't charge a fee per lot, but if you're having problems like Ryan where, 300 different pieces or 300 parts, I don't know how many lots it was, but I imagine a lot, and it was a $20 order, probably took a while to pack and stuff, wondering how to combat this in the future, I wouldn't do a lot limit personally. Because at that point, then you're saying you can only order 12 different lots in my store, and that's it. I'm gonna cut you off right there and say no more. In my opinion, at that point, you're telling people don't purchase from me. What I would do is have an average lot value. Now, what this does is it changes something where instead of people buying one of each piece, you say you need to spend at least 50 cents in each lot. So they can't just buy one of each piece. They need to buy like 12 of this piece and 12 of this piece and 10 of this piece. So each lot averages out to 50 cents. If you have that, it makes a little bit more sense. And I would do that instead of adding a fee, like Parker suggested. I would have an average lot value on your store. Currently, we don't have that at all. We don't have anything, kind of any minimum buy or anything like that. And that hopefully, in theory, brings more people to our store, lets more people shop with us and stuff without pushing people away. But I would say average lot value is going to be the safest bet to go when you have all those people kind of wondering about, I have this massive order that took me 2 hours to pack and I only made $30 on it or something like that. Next question is from John, who says, I just started a BrickLink store and I was wondering what counts as a new piece. I have a Lego Big Ben set 10253 that I've parted out. The condition for the parts looks as good as new pieces. It's just been built and taken apart once with a brick separator. Do I list them as used or new? Now on BrickLink it says new needs to come out like straight out of the package and can never have been assembled or anything like that. I do think there are probably sellers out there who kind of what you say, as you say it looks like it's in brand new condition, and you just want to list it as new because no one will know the difference. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who do that. From our business's perspective, I guess that's not the right thing to do, so we wouldn't do that. Even if it's ever been used, as far as we found it in a bulk lot or we built the set once and took it apart, it'll be listed as used. Currently, we don't have a ton of used parts in our store, but no matter the condition, if it was ever in a used lot or if it's clearly been used, even if you can't visually see it, we're going to mark it as used. That's technically what the BrickLink terms say, and in my opinion, it's the best thing to do. Something to keep in mind with that is you might make less money with selling it as a used, but you'll have customer satisfaction probably be a little bit higher because when you purchase something used, you expect it to see and show signs of use. If it looks like it's brand new, they'll be more happy than someone who purchased it new and sees a scratch on it and wonders where that scratch came from because this piece should be brand new. So you can kind of think about it that way as well. Next question is from Gareth Jones, who says, when talking about overall profit on BrickLink, what do you do with all the Lego which likely never sells? I'm talking the red 2x4 bricks and other common standard pieces which will never sell, but will always acquire them as you get broken down and the sets get added to the store. How does this affect the overall sales? Or to put it another way, if you buy a set worth 20 pounds and it only can realistically sell 60% of the parts, as they're the desirable ones, then is that a loss on that parted out set? So what we personally do for parts that are less desirable, and this is something I've done, I think it was for our Black Friday sale. We had parts up to 70% off. Now, those parts that were 70% off were items that have been in our store for years. Not necessarily in this year. We've only operated for 1 year, as big as we are now. But before this, I was doing it very small, less than 10,000 pieces, for on and off for almost 5 or 6 years. So what I was doing, or I think I did on our Black Friday sale, is I went through our inventory and I figured out when it was listed and when it has sold last, or if it had sold anytime. If it hadn't sold in over a year, I automatically put it up pretty high. If it was like 2 or 3 years, it was like 70% off. We were trying to get rid of them. Now, that's not giving away the Lego for free. Obviously, you're still having people pay for that Lego. It is probably not making you money, but you might be at that point where you're breaking even by getting rid of that piece. Now, something to keep in mind is if you do have things sitting in your store, they're taking up room on your shelves, that is preventing another item from filling its place. So it is kind of hogging away stuff. So going to your question where you specifically say 60% of the pieces sell, if we do hit that, we still did make a profit. And the reason, or we made a profit based on the cost of the set. So that's why you have that 3 times part out value. In theory, If you sell 100% of it, you made 3 times. If you sell only 33% though, you should have made your money back for that entire set. Not with the labor and all that, the time and stuff that's gone into it, but for the physical inventory, a 33%, if you sell 33% of those parts, you should have made even on the money you got back. No, on the money you spent. Sorry, that was a terrible sentence. So if you sell 60%, in theory, you've made 50% more than you spent. So if you spent $50 at 60% of sales, essentially, you've made about $100 from those $50. So you're still making a profit if you don't factor in your time and overhead and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that kind of made some sense. That's why when we go to purchase sets, if we look through a set and know this is never going to sell, this is never going to sell, this is never going to sell, and we actually have one set sitting over there that I think that might be the case. It's one of the Trolls sets. We won't purchase most sets that we're just not confident in the pieces. If they're not going to sell, it's not worth having it in your store. So we will try to push those away. But like I said, what we do is we do put pieces that are less desirable on sale because people still buy them. They're just marked down quite a bit, and then eventually they're out of our store. We can put something new in there, and generally, selling it at 70% off is just about what we should have sold it for, what we purchased that individual item for in that set, if that makes sense. So 70% off, 65% off. At that point, you're breaking even, and we only do that for parts that have been in our store for a long time. Hopefully that kind of answered that question. So it's not necessarily a loss, but it is a break even. Last question of this week is from Ziga, who says, I have a question about when you look for part out value on BrickLink. Do you look for the value of the last 6 months sales or the current items for sale? Which of those needs to be 3 times the value for you to buy it? For us, it needs to be the 6 month sales average, because the current items for sale is people who just want more money or less money or whatever it might be. So for example, if we have a 2x4 green brick here, if this sells for 4 cents in the 6 month sales average, that means the past 6 months on average this has been selling for 4 cents. Now if someone in their store is selling one green brick for $200 but no one's going to purchase it, the current items for sale average might be 12 cents for this brick when you factor in that extra person who's asking $200 for the one brick when they meant to ask for $2 or something like that. So at that point the current sales average current sales average I think goes up crazy because people are asking for more. That doesn't necessarily mean it sells. So we always look at the last 6 months sales average. If it has sold in the last 6 months at a certain price, that average is going to be consistent with what people are purchasing it for. So if the 6 month sales average doesn't hit 3 times or 2.5, we'll go down to occasionally, but if it's at like 2 times, there's no way we're buying that. Or if it's like a 1.4 times. You'll see that almost every single time on most sets, the current sales average is much higher than the last 6 month sales average. That is it, I think, for questions this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful for those who asked the question and maybe anyone else who was looking for anything, any information. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions or comments for next BrickSide Chat or really anything, go to put them in the comment section below. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you all in the next one.